Look at all these beautiful people that I can't see. Happy Monday. You know, when you play roulette, you watch the ball go around. That's how I feel every time I see all these black screens get on TV or on Zoom TV, as I call it, and see who's going to turn their camera on today. So look, happy Monday. I'm going to start off with a quote. You will never be good at anything you don't practice. So there's no secret that the secret sauce to your business growing is practicing. So just dropped my son off at a basketball camp and I was talking with the coach. And he was asking me a little bit about my son. And I was telling him, well, my son practices a lot. He practices 3 hours a week with a coach. And then there's 5 hours a day that he's essentially playing at this camp. So I said, by simple math, over a month in the summer, he'll get in 112 hours of practice going on 10 to 11 years old, which is more practice than most kids his age will get in several years. And look, all of this stuff is just a math equation, right? So couple different things before we get started. I did a training that was very well received. I think there are about 600 people there. I think some of you were on. I can't really see when we do the Compass trainings for private exclusives and pre-marketing. There's no secret if you work there, you're hearing a lot about this now, correct? Well, in typical Chirag spirit, I started making a couple follow-up materials and I was thinking of all of you. So I went down, in the Matrix, they have like the blue pill and the red pill. I forgot which one it is. It's like the full-blown rabbit hole. The other night, I went down a full rabbit hole of pre-marketing. And at the end of it, it was 2:30 in the morning. But I did have a 16-page playbook that we're just going to finish putting together and send to all of you. So it's workflows, processes, scripts, literally everything that you could humanly think of. And a lot more of this stuff will make sense to you since it's based on the framework that we teach every day. So we'll be getting that to you this week. The second thing is our AI app is moving along, right? We have one version we're coming up with now that Peggy, nice to see you here today. Well, it's been a while. We have one that we're working on now, and then another one that we're going to make that's going to be really baked in as we build out a more simplistic platform for you going into the fall. So lots of new and exciting things coming here. And last but not least, I have an amazing AI course that we're going to be doing together in the month of August. So in meeting with the accountability leaders, Cherish had said, she goes, even if you had an AI course, it'd be something we would actually pay for. And I said, well, instead of doing the role play sessions, the buyer session, the seller sessions, we always have that one filler month, which is kind of a recap month. I'm going to build you all. We'll do a course once a week for 45 minutes to an hour, and it'll have some Q&A. I'm going to bring on somebody who's a data scientist with a PhD in data science from Yale to kind of listen and kind of help engage with us. And we'll do 4 one-hour sessions in August, but it'll be a full baked mini course, 4-week course on how to utilize AI in your business. Now, last housekeeping measure for today, there will not be an 11:30 and 12:30 call. I have something personal that I cannot get out of and we cannot find anyone to fill in. So Wednesday, I'm going to be doing a full 1 hour on the listing presentation where I will be presenting to somebody the communication plan, the marketing calendar, utilizing anchoring statements and everything. So you can see more of this in a comprehensive workflow from down to doing the home tour, the med-see. So I'll be presenting to somebody, which we'll identify in this next coming days. So there's no 11:30, no 12:30. I believe Wednesday at 1 o'clock, and we'll get an email out this morning. Sound good, everybody? So what I want to talk to you all today in role playing is about a concept called anchoring statements. Does anyone know what an anchoring statement is?
Kind of.
Pacific 10 a.m. Who knows? Anybody? All right. So if you think about it, when you go out on a boat, they have those, what are those things? Those orange things? What are those called? Does anyone know? Markers. Buoys. So really a buoy is a point that you can go back to as a point of reference, right? So an anchoring statement essentially is a buoy in your listing presentation for all the boating and non-boating people. What does that really mean in layman's terms? Remember, as long as everything you're doing is the words and idea of somebody else, can you ever be wrong? No. Right? So anchoring statements are explicit agreements that you have with your clients in their own words that get them to share what you're doing will be the best for them. So one, you're subconsciously getting them to agree with you throughout the entire presentation that this is what they want. So in the end, when you get objections, when we talk about objection handling, we want to go back to the beginning. And if you have anchoring statements, I can say things to Michael and Amy like, I'm really confused. And they're going to say, well, what are you confused about? You had shared that you felt that this exact marketing plan would get you the most buyers and the best price. Has that changed? No. Then help me understand what the challenge is moving forward, right? When you get a commission objection. So you want to be able to do this. One, it improves your close rate. Two, it gives people something they feel good about the entire time. Three, you flush out any problems in advance. So who would like to be a participant with me and do a role play?
I will.
Okay, perfect. I was going to say, whoever it is, you can be the seller.
I'm driving. I'll
It's
do my
okay.
best.
No, you don't. Just look at the road. I'm always afraid that somebody's going to die and looking at the Zoom camera when driving. So look, so the scenario is I'm going to present marketing to you, right? And what I want you to do is just be a normal seller, right? So I would say, obviously, are we all familiar with the framing concept? No, not everybody. So framing is how you set up a conversation. So framing is putting it in somebody's current belief system, values, the way they see the world, and setting up the conversation so it's something that makes sense, right? So I would say to Amy, you know how Apple has a launch plan for all their products and service that really build the momentum for their marketing campaign to really help drive demand and sell their products out on the first day? Now, would it be okay if I shared with you our version of the Apple launch strategy for your home?
Yes.
Okay, great. So what I'd like to do is show you the exact process we use. After that, I'll show you the calendar of which we have planned out, which will customize to the dates of yours. And I want to see if you feel comfortable and confident ultimately that this will drive the most traffic, buyers, and get you and ultimately have you maximize your equity. Would that be okay?
Absolutely.
All right, perfect. So our pre-marketing actually works in two stages. The first one is a period called private exclusive. Did you have a chance to review any of those materials I had sent over on this in advance?
I did.
Did you have any
And I'm
questions?
confused as to, I did read about the private exclusives as to whether it's a marketing tool before going on MLS or it's really just a product to keep my house off the market and not list on MLS.
Well, actually, we can do both. So the first question I would have for you is, are you looking to sell your house on the market or off the market?
I prefer to sell it off market.
All right, perfect. So let me go through how essentially our whole entire marketing plan will work. As you know, 90% of properties are sold through agents. Well, one of the benefits is our Compass network is one true luxury network. So private exclusive allows us to list your property on compass.com. And I'll go through our multi-step approach to garner agents and interest in our office and then subsequently potentially others. So again, now I'm going to say if you want to sell off market, talk to your sales manager, and however the local communist MLS tells you to do it. I call it communism because I don't still understand why in the world any third party should be able to dictate how a private homeowner chooses to sell their home, but that's for a whole nother day and time. So I would say to her, okay, Amy, that totally makes sense. The first thing is we'll want to discuss the things that you can control, things I can control, and no one controls after we go through essentially an overview of what private exclusive is. Does that sound good?
It does. Yep.
The private exclusive is marketed to our internal Compass database. We have 30,000 luxury agents nationwide that will have access to your listing that will be able to share it with their buyers that have interest in it. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Would you have any questions about that?
Will it go out to the local agents in Fairfield County?
Well, the first thing we want to do is when we talk about marketing, and similar to Apple, when they do their product launches, can they actually buy the product in advance?
No,
No. So
I don't.
think of private exclusive as our initial period to be able to launch your market, launch your property. We'll be able to come up with the visual story of our home. And the nice part about doing it with our Compass colleagues is they'll actually give us feedback, meaning there'll be certain specific points that we want to test to see how buyers respond to marketing collateral, the story we tell of your home, the condition, the staging, the way that the house shows, the price, and we'll be able to pinpoint down a few of those features to see if there are any adjustments that we have to make. Now, you always have the option to listen to offers, but my suggestion is to competitively drive the best price is say that you're listening to offers and you're not 100% sure if you want to put it on the market. No one needs to know besides me, you, and the decision makers here that the house is never going to go on the market because it'll give you a strategic positioning advantage in any kind of negotiation.
What is the market insights that's referenced in the private exclusive materials?
So market insights is essentially the whole feedback process, right? So when we're able to get local market insights, we'll do what's called a viewing, if you want to call it a viewing party, I suggest you do it, call it an event. We'll create a launch event for our Compass colleagues in the local offices where we'll have food and drinks and we'll invite people over before they could ever bring a buyer back. And then I will be able to register the email off, I will be able to register every agent that comes here. And then we'll be able to follow up and check to see if we have to make any adjustments before they send it out to their buyers. Now, once they send it out to their buyers, then we're able to get insights from what agents can see from their buyers. Can I share with you one of the things that's really different about this whole private exclusive period versus going on within just on the MLS? One of the main benefits is based on what we're really looking to test and get insights on, every agent is a colleague of mine. So I'll actually be able to call and speak to them in advance and let them know what type of specific feedback or insights I'm looking into. Where ultimately, before we choose or not choose to even share it with another local agent, we'll be able to pinpoint how your home could show in the best way possible to help you get the best price.
It's my understanding that I'm kind of speaking as an agent now. In Connecticut, we can also do digital advertising and social media campaigns that will generate those market insight reports. Is that correct?
I have no idea what your local laws are, so I don't know.
Yeah, I think that we can. Well, okay, I'm the client again. Well, considering that it's a private exclusive, does that mean I'm gonna get a reduced fee on the list side?
No.
Since it's a much different process than putting out an MLS?
Listen, I can appreciate you saying that. And ultimately, think of it like a hotel room. Whether you go for one night or 5 nights, it's still the entire experience. So, look, my goal obviously is in line with yours to maximize the equity in your home. And whether you choose to list on the MLS or not list on the MLS, the investment for our services is blank percent. And if that's something you feel comfortable with, that's great. If it's something you don't feel comfortable with, that's great too.
Can you walk me through how the pricing is different for a private exclusive, which I'd really like to do, but I understand the disadvantages of not exposing it to the larger market.
Well, here's
Can
the
you talk
thing.
to me a little bit about that?
I'll walk you through how we'll position your home on the market, right? So in any luxury product, there is an equilibrium between price and what a consumer is willing to pay. The one thing that we know, even with the top luxury brands like Hermes, there's a cap. So if marketing could generate some sort of insane price that people pay any amount of money. There's a saying we have, no amount of marketing will sell an overpriced listing. The positioning aspect of a private exclusive is, look, what we want is people bidding on emotion and not facts. And what does that really mean for you is, as we garner interest and momentum into your home, saying to potential buyers and colleagues that we might list it on the MLS, which would garner more competition and more buyers, would drive up the price. So a person potentially that's lost out on a few homes or has a short timeline for a home may logically, emotionally bid just to have more control of the situation. And that puts you in the driver's seat in the negotiation for price and terms. So again, Amy, though, it comes down to what type of experience are you looking for?
Are there any Are there any disadvantages I should know about when it comes to private exclusives?
Well, I don't think there's any disadvantage, because if, say, we were listing your home on the MLS, right? We would go through the private exclusive period, garner interest, let people say it, and say we're not taking offers right now. Then the next thing we would do is what's called the coming soon period. The coming soon period is another pre-marketing strategy to take the next step in building momentum for your home, where now we could market the home to, again, to our colleagues, but now to all agents in the marketplace. Which at that point too, you can choose to take an offer or say that you're going to go on the market. What we find is, in competitive markets where you're in, where there's low inventory, I'm going to give you another option, which is a 3-step process where you go through the private exclusive, you garner interest. You go through the coming soon, we garner interest. Then we will market your homes as a private neighbor open house, where we'll send invitations, we'll invite them for food, drinks, and then invite all of the buyers back right on an overlapping time for a big open house launch, and let people know that if you come to the open house, we'll be accepting offers on Monday, and we will not let any buyer do a second showing during the private exclusive or coming soon period, unless it's something that you really want to do. So any second showings, buyers all would be coming to that open house. And what we know is, when you see a lot of traffic and a lot of people, as a buyer, if you saw that, would you think you have to pay more or less?
More.
So which option works best for you?
More. I like the 3-step approach of the private exclusive, of testing the market at my sell price, which I know the comps you presented are at 2, but I'm willing to accept 2.4. So I would move ahead with private exclusive at that price point if I could get, my sell amount.
Got it. So essentially, based on your belief that we have the best marketing that will ultimately get you the most buyers, you feel like we could set a record in your neighborhood and sell 20% above the comps.
That's what I think my property's worth.
Okay, got it. So now, do you see what
I
I
literally
just
had this thing happen to me on Friday.
stay in character? I feel like
So
that's
I'm-
great. So we have no problem
Okay.
putting all of our efforts into 2.4. Let me ask you a question, Amy. What will happen for you if you're able to sell at 2.4?
I will have enough equity to move forward with my plans and purchase another property. But the comps that you presented at the 2.21, I feel like my home is worth more. So that would really allow me to move forward, which would be fantastic.
Got it. And if you're not able to sell your home at 2.4, what would happen?
I have to really adjust my plans moving forward, which I can do, but I still really believe that my home is worth more. So I like the private exclusive to put it out there and to test the market at that number. I like that idea.
Perfect. And lastly, since we're both working on the same team, what's your plan B if if a buyer's not willing to pay 2.4 for your property, based on looking at the comps, which an agent will present them?
I honestly don't know.
Right. So look, what I'd like to share with you is, we are fully aligned in trying to maximize the equity of your home. I would not be doing my job, and you should not invest $1 with me if I didn't tell you this. We need to sit down and align on, if plan A happens, we get 2.4 and somebody's willing to pay a record price. Well, no, it's 2.2. So it's essentially 10, like about 10% more than the market based on not having to compete with other people. Because the benefit you have is you have a beautiful home, it's renovated, and there are not a lot of homes on the market. Plan B is adjusting your plans, what that would look like. And then plan C is ultimately deciding if you still want to make a move in advance, if you're only able to get 2.2. Because the question I always ask people is, if you saw all comparable homes and what other buyers were willing to pay at 2.2, would you pay 2.4 for a home, and what would cause you to do that?
Just my
Gotcha.
ability to get it before it went on the market.
You see what I just did there? I just trapped you in your own thoughts. So look, we've
Mhm.
walked through this. Did anything I say was confrontational?
Nope.
Not combative.
I liked how you went to the options. Yeah.
Exactly. By the way, this
Mhm.
3-step marketing plan or 4-step marketing plan is something I just came up with last week. I'm really excited about it. So we'll get you this. All of you should do this. So look, here's the thing. If somebody doesn't want to sell, remember, okay, great. So Amy, the important part is us to align on this. And did you have this conversation in person?
Yes, on Friday for two and a
This
half
is why
hours.
having a plod note is
Brutal.
really, this is why having a plod note is really important, because you're going to want the transcript, you're going to want the recap, and you're going to want something in writing reminding the person that they agreed to 2.2. So look, you don't want the whole transformation, and the goal is not to get her to agree to 2.2 when they go on market today. That's not the thing. People have to go through the process and the experience, right? So I'm going to say, let's
Mhm.
test the market. Let's get colleagues. Here's the nice part. Peggy and Amy are in the same market. Peggy, come by. Like, we're friends. So I need as much feedback if you feel that the price is overpriced and everything else. And literally, I would create a feedback form in Google and ask the people the 3 questions and share all the answers with the seller. Let them read it. Let them digest it, and then get in touch with them. Do you notice the other thing that happened here? When she wanted more money, I hit the anchoring statement of, you believe since we have the best marketing. And she was like, yeah, 100%. Right. So in the end, if she went back and forth about commission, is, look, what you have to choose is, it's like traveling anywhere. Do you want to stay at the best place with the best experience? Or do you not want the best marketing for your most valuable asset? Right. If I was selling a wedding hall, it's like, do you believe this is the place for your dream wedding? Do you not want to have the place for your dream wedding that you're only going to do once in your life? This is how sales works. Now, mind you, I have not practiced this conversation. I didn't know anything about this conversation. Amy and I just started the conversation. But when you practice this over and over again, you just have a basic framework to follow, it just gets easier. I don't have any special gift in this than you all do. You all have an advantage that you have more time with clients than I do. So you all therefore should be better than me. She can't, if she's her client and the client now turns around and's like, well, I'm fine with doing this, but I only want to pay 3% and I want 2.4. And if not, I'm going to sell my home. I'd say peace. But you know, the nice way I would say it is, I'm going to say, look, what you've identified is you want a luxury service. And just like if you walked into Hermes and you said, I want to buy this bag for this price, they're going to say, I'm sorry, this is not for you. There are other stores that have different kinds of bags at different price points. The second option, the second thing is, if she was just so fixed on this, I would just say to her nicely, I would not be worth $1 in investment if I didn't walk you to these 3 things and also have you realize that something like this might never happen. And if I didn't tell you this and I went along with what you said, I'm not a real professional, and it will cost you time. It will cost you headaches and having all these people through your house, inconveniencing your life, adding days on market where your listing becomes stale, or there's stigma to it. In a market where every home is selling in 14 days or less, why didn't this home sell? If you saw every home selling in 14 days, Amy, and this one sat there for a month, what would you think?
Right. That there's something wrong with it
And is that what you
or
want people thinking
overpriced.
about your home?
No.
In the end, Amy, what we know is people will pay what other buyers are willing to pay. What we know is every buyer, just like when we look at another home, you're going to base your offer on what? What are you going to base your offer on when you purchase property?
Well, I'm going to look at the sale to list price ratio in my neighborhood, and I'm going to base my offer on that.
And do you think other buyers are going to do the same thing?
Yes.
Got it. So now what we essentially have to plan for is how to create enough demand potentially that somebody's willing to pay $200,000 more. And there's only one way to do that. And if it works, it's great. We're going to put all of our efforts together to do that. If it doesn't work, we have to be prepared in advance to improve the price to something a other buyer is willing to pay, just like you would if you were looking at this property.
I mean, this is your same price. The biggest driver of elevating sale price is listing it at market and getting multiple offers and driving the price up. But the comps that you've included in my CMA, they're all at 100 and 102% of sale to list price ratio. So if I want to be at 2.4, we're listing at 2.1, you're not going to get me to that number.
Can either one of us control what other buyers are willing to pay for homes?
But I don't like the comps that you included. I feel like my home's at 2.4, 2.5, and you're using comps at 2.1.
Perfect. You know what? I have the best investment that I can make going forward. Why don't we I will invest, we'll sign the agreement. I will hire an appraiser that will value and give you adjustments based on every detail of your home. Plus I'll spend I'll cover a consultation for an hour. So you could ask any questions, they could share the market trends, and this will ensure that we pinpoint the value of your home and maximize your equity. And we'll have that information when we start, as long as we're in alignment that once you understand the value, that's the value that we're going to ultimately, if we go to market, work off of.
I like that idea.
Checkmate.
Do you think those appraisers tend to come in low though? I mean, that's been my experience,
No,
or not
you're
necessarily.
paying the person a fee and you're going to
Mhm,
tell them, I'm
mhm.
hiring you for a client. I want the actual fair market value, which we would eventually have to list that. To do it as if you're doing an actual appraisal.
Yep.
And I wanted, like, how much is it for a 1-hour consultation for you to meet with my client and explain to her the market, the trends, and all the things that are in contract and what you're saying. I had an appraiser
Yep.
on my
Yep.
sales team the entire time I had a brokerage for this exact reason. And I would never do CMAs. I would say, I'm bringing in an appraiser. Personally speaking, now, this is my own point of view. And some of you are not going to like this. I think the idea of having a real estate agent do a CMA to sell a multi-million-dollar asset is like me going to a jewelry store and somebody that's not a jewelry appraiser giving me a value on my diamond chain. If you look at it, right? If I had difficult clients and I had the inkling, I would have an appraisal and I'd highlight all the different adjustments and things. Like, look, in any appraisal, there's 15 different unique factors that drive the value of the home. I'm sharing this based on my knowledge as an agent and the data that's available to me. It sounds like you really want to maximize your equity. I love the opportunity to work together. So let me make this investment so that an appraiser that's licensed to do this, and then I would look up how many hours it takes to get an appraiser's license. It's insane.
Yeah. Yeah.
I will tell
I've
all
had
of you.
clients initiate that on their own. I love
Yeah.
it.
If you're selling a house, it is benign to me to understand why you wouldn't pay for a home inspection, because you'll know all the things people try to negotiate. When something is off in a home inspection, do they want the cost of that or the cost times 10 to 100? The cost times 10 to 100, right? What is every inspector trying to do? The boiler's broken and it's old. I always used to say to people, Hey, let me ask you a question. When you saw the house with your buyer, did you guys not look in the boiler room? No, of course we did. So did you see the boiler result? Yes, we did. Did it look like it was going to die then? Yes. Did it look like it's going to die today? Yes. But you still made this offer. So help me understand, where in your offer did you write in, I want a new boiler? The house is presented in the condition it is, and you're making the offer. That's why we have that home equity protection plan, where you really have to share with buyers in advance before they make an offer. The offer you make today is on everything that's disclosed and you visually see. The only things that we'll negotiate on home inspections are mold, asbestos, termites, and things that were not disclosed to you or were visually seen when you saw the home. We have an agent, Fran Mazer. She's like the queen of Woodbury, and she works in many markets in Long Island. Fran has never negotiated a home inspection in her life. Never. She goes, I don't negotiate inspections. So if you know Fran, reach out to her. She's great. Zero. She's not giving you $1 on the home inspection. Do you see that broken crack? I'm sorry. It was there. Nope, not doing it. Look, there's a way we can elevate what we do. And as you can see, this is just one talk track in many. If you follow our system, learn it inside out and backwards, you will never lose a listing that you want to get. Never. And if the people don't want to pay with your service, tell them to go list with Keller Williams or any of these other brokerages that have nothing to offer people. Literally, they have an announcement in Inman that Keller Williams made this generative AI thing, and I guarantee you the one that we have is better than what they have because our training is better. It's like a big industry announcement. Our AI tool, when it's finished, will be able to teach you how to use Compass tools. Anything that I've ever taught in terms of talking points, workflows, and everything over time will be integrated into our app. We'll have a feedback feature that we're working on building in, where directly you can type into the app and tell us what you want, and we'll get that. And every 2 weeks, we'll keep adding new releases. As long as we all stick together, nobody will be able to beat us. But if we work in silos, we don't practice, we don't join accountability groups, we don't build relationships, that's what they all want, is to keep us separate. The reason Compass does so good is because we're all together. Was this good for all of you today? Felt like we did good today. All right, so I will get you all the free marketing plan. My apologies for later on today, but this actually worked out because we'll be able to do a 1-hour role play, and I will role play out the whole pre-marketing thing, and I'll have checklists for you. The book is literally 16 pages long, 16. Visuals, things you'll be able to put in your, things that you could bring in to make your own visuals and marketing center and everything else. So it's really, really good. I would say it's some of the best training I've ever made. Bold statement. So whatever it is, I got your back.
So wait, are we not meeting?
There's no 11:30 and there's no 12:30. You're going to see an email go out, but while you're all here today. And then subsequently on Wednesday, we're going to do a 1-hour Wednesday at, I'll tell you this right now, at 1 to 2 p.m. Eastern. That is 12 to 1 Central, 10 to 11 Pacific. Jesus. Tuesday still going on. Yes, it's just today.
Okay, cool.
All right, y'all, practice, practice, practice. And let me tell you this whole 4-step pre-marketing thing of, yeah, you know what? I'm happy to present the offer. My client's not 100% sure that they want to go on market. They have not indicated to me either way what they want to do. And their exact words are, Peggy, they're keeping an open mind. So if you have an offer, I'm happy to present it to them. If you say that exact thing to an agent, they're going to go back like, well, I know the agent because they're in my office, but the seller literally hasn't told them anything. So we have to make a really compelling offer to make them not want to go on the market. See, words make all the difference. Never tell your colleagues what you're going to do. I'm sorry. Even though you all work in the same office, the second you sign that contract, you're getting paid by somebody else. And remember, there is a reputational advantage to being able to sell through private exclusive and coming soon, because none of the other companies can do this. I would build out a launch plan on these events in your office. Make somebody who you give business to, like a mortgage person, pay for the food and drinks every time. All right, and enough of my land of Willy Wonka's chocolate fantasy factory and wanting to make Sue's cool stuff. It's always love in my heart. I love you all. I will see you all tomorrow. Bye, everybody.
Thanks.
You're welcome.